Yay! Kate's here! Woohoo! Thanks for coming to the pod, Kate.
Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Yeah, it's such a blast. We're one of those newer introductions where Erin, the producer of the podcast, the best podcast producer ever,
We
plug.
love her.
We love her. She just knows so many. She's done so much. She knows so many people. And immediately, before we even recorded the first episode, she's like, "You need to talk to Kate, and Kate needs to be on your podcast." And now, Kate, you're like rounding out the season. You're our last guest on season one.
Oh my God, that's great.
I know.
That's great.
Yes, it's like
Yay.
bonus. You get to be the bookend. I started with Erin, our first guest podcast, and then we're ending this season with you.
That's perfect.
So
Erin
satisfying.
is one of my favorite people in the world. Known her
Oh,
so long.
I know. Isn't she? If she doesn't show up in a romper, though, I'm always disappointed. I'm like, where's your onesie?
Right.
It's kind of her
Magical
thing.
creature.
I'm like, not those don't look good on most people, but you can rock a onesie like
Every
it's
time.
nobody's business.
Yeah. I love
Isn't
it.
that so true?
It is so
It's
true. You're right.
the best. It's the best. Okay, I'm not going to spoil your intro. I know enough about you. We've talked. Erin speaks like she adores you. She thinks you're like one of the greatest humans that she knows, which is high praise from Erin.
Blushing.
I
Great.
know, so cool.
Thanks.
I hope she talks about me like that.
She
Um,
does. She does.
it's so cute. She has her favorites. She's a people person too. So I'm gonna let you introduce yourself though, and I want to, your normalish intro, just like what you're up to, what you're passionate about, whatever you want to say in your intro. But then also let's sprinkle in a couple things you wouldn't normally talk about in your intro for funsies,
Okay.
hobbies, things you've done in the past, whatever comes to mind is perfect.
Okay. Just I'm gonna start off. I'm shy, so I'm gonna do my best to talk about myself. I'm not good at that, but my name is Kate Romane, and I am a chef and business owner in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I've been working with food almost my entire life. And I had a restaurant called E Squared that I started back in 2009 and closed it and opened my now event and catering company called Black Radish Kitchen. And we do parties, we do events, we do event planning. And also with that, we do some like coaching. We've incubated some smaller restaurants and companies out of the space. We use it as an incubator. And one of them is a restaurant that I'm involved in called Fed Fisk that is doing really well here in Pittsburgh. So that's something. And then like something I've just started to let people in, is that one of the things we're really known for is our focaccia, but in the last recent year, I was diagnosed with celiacs. So I can't eat some of the stuff that I love. So that's been like a weird thing I'm like kind of coming out about, but I don't know if that's very interesting or not, but that's
What
one
a
of the things.
buzzkill for a chef, though.
I know.
What?
I could sit here and I'd throw a pity party for myself and talk your ear off about it, but I really have been trying to find, what it is in that's going to bring, I've had to rethink about pizza, all the things of like, and food in general. Like I'm a person that wakes up and every day I'm like, what am I in the mood to eat today? Like, what am I going to eat today? It's like my whole day is sort of like getting to the next meal. It's like I'm always thinking about food and what would feel good, taste good, and it's really reshaped that. So, um, it's been cool, like
Yeah.
rethinking like eating. So
Yeah, it's like one of
anyway,
the little books where you like the adventure changes. You're at
yeah,
the point in the book where the adventure is changing.
yes, like
And
in all the ways.
I feel blessed, honestly, for chefs to have the opportunity to like help us figure this out because I mean, back in the day, being gluten free, like being allergic to gluten, having any kind of celiac was pretty sad when it came to like what you could enjoy.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it has evolved like to the point now where I'm married to someone who has a gluten
Mm,
allergy, so not celiac, but like just makes her feel like junk, and it
yeah.
is very impactful to her mood, her physical, her meat suit, as I
Yeah.
like to call them.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel a little blessed that like chefs, because then I feel like you're really motivated to come up with alternatives slash like how in the world do you make focaccia gluten free?
Yeah. And we've started to. We finally, myself and the chef I have at Black Radish of kind of we have something that's pretty good. Like so, but yeah, it just takes some time. But also, like you said, it just the options are expanding all the time for what we can eat as people who can't eat the gluten anymore. So
Yeah. Yeah. I only have one gluten-free recommendation for everyone because I think it's the best. Like little, they started really small in Colorado. It's called Outside the Bread Box. Have you heard of them?
okay, no,
It's just a start with clever name. I love their
yeah,
name. Um, they're definitely like regional. You can find them in natural grocers over by us. Probably, I doubt they've made it all the way to you, but they have nailed the oat bread.
really,
Like you cannot tell that it's oat. It is delicious. It's like decent nutrients. I got really into it when I was vegan because I was just looking for more like nutrients in my carbs, basically.
yeah.
And yeah, outside the bread box, it is. Now they do like graham crackers, but it's all small batch. So if you're ever over on our side of the country, or Aaron and I should send you a care package.
Come
That's what
on,
we should
just
do.
come visit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
come
mean,
visit.
I will fly for
Great.
good bread. Yes, let's
Wonderful.
go.
I'm a huge fan. I'm an advocate for that
Okay.
brand. So yeah, they're totally worth checking out.
Okay, cool.
Um, yeah, that is wow, what a wild thing to introduce to your career at this stage too.
It was a weird one, and it also happened during COVID. So it was just like this convergence of like a little bit of just a little extra salt in that wound. But and I was a baker for 10 years before having a restaurant, so it was a little it's a little hard. I mean, every day we still bake the focaccia and I look at each other and I'm like, girl, you look so hot. And it's a little temptation, but each day I'm like, make good choices. You know,
Yeah, it's just not good for my body. So
yes, we're not good for each other anymore.
we're not
So
good for each
yeah,
other. Oh, but we had a good time.
we had a great time, and we're still in each other's lives, and it's just the evolving relationship. So
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
It's like a classic queer relationship.
yes,
You're still
totally.
friends, you still see each
We're family.
other, hang in the same circles. Oh, so good.
Absolutely.
I love this. Okay, I want to kick it off with a
Mhm.
fun, like, it's a little bit of a zinger question,
Okay,
but in a
ready.
fun way. So, Kate, tell me, what's something everyone believes, like the general population, that you think is just completely wrong? You're like, nah, I don't buy into that.
I mean, what is the general like? What does everyone believe? I don't know. That's the first part of it is the part I'm having trouble with. Like, what does everybody believe in? I mean, my whole life is around the food service industry, so I would go to. I'm going to hone in on that one, and that it's believes it's like very competitive. I think we've been forced this like narrative that we've compete inside the space. There's a million TV shows that it's like that, and I have not found that it has to be that way. That chefs do want to find collaboration and camaraderie with each other, and it's not. And the industry does not need to only have one pizza place, one female identifying chef. None of these like categories that we want to like against each other. I don't. In my tiny little world, I guess I would say I don't believe that that's true.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I would argue that's a prevailing narrative even outside of your world, like that hospitality and food in particular are super competitive and like all restaurants fail and like don't touch that with a 10-foot pole. When you're like, I'm looking around, I'm like visiting Maine on a
mhm,
coastal little stretch of the coast right now, and there are tons of thriving restaurants. Like you cannot get in to a restaurant in these towns without making a reservation. Like the brewery last night, we like tried to walk into the brewery, which in my mind was like, of course it's walk in.
yeah,
Turns out it's on open table and you have to make a reservation.
really, wow,
Yeah, because they're that busy. I'm like, this is fun. Like, good for that. This is incredible. Like the tourism paired with good food. I don't think they're competing at all. They're like, oh, go down. They literally told us. They're like, there's this place right down the road. Like people don't know about it because it's off the main strip. Like, check it out. I'm sure you can get in there. And sure enough, that's where we went. But
yeah.
I agree, and I think that narrative is actually more mainstream than maybe you think. I think even to like people who aren't in your industry, that is
Mhm.
something that we're fed the same. Like
Yeah.
cutthroat, there's a lot of aggression in the kitchen. There's a lot of, which I came a little bit back in my, how old was I? My 20s. I worked in restaurants and I worked for a bigger catering company for a while.
Mhm.
And it was, I mean, it
It's
was,
not easy.
it's not easy.
I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm
It's
saying
hard work.
it is hard work, but what makes it, I think certainly now, I mean, back when I started, there were chefs that were, thought that this overbearing type of management was going to get the job done. And really, at the end of the day, it was when you have a team that gels and a team that respects each other, like any industry, it's gonna fucking fly. Like you're gonna succeed. Or people are gonna feel it when they're inside the space. And that takes people working together, not being competitive, or full of these egos. I mean, egos exist for sure inside of this industry, but what I found is like when you can put those things aside a little bit, it's the most successful and best places to go eat. So
Let's dive into that a little bit because I think
okay,
that's something most people don't. This is now we're like in the insider land of your world, which from my perspective, like the questions that I have that pop right up are, like how do you recruit? How are you finding people for your teams? Like what's the messaging? Like how do you create that environment that you're right. Like when you go to a restaurant and you can tell everyone is like happy to be there, it's a better experience for you, right, as a consumer in that environment because it's just, you know, it's lovely and you can tell versus when you go in and you're like, ooh, you can kind of like, you feel like you can cut the air with a
yeah,
knife.
yeah, and then all of a sudden you're thinking about it way too much. When you walk into a place and you feel comfortable and you can enjoy the people you're with, and whether the food is the most amazing experience you've ever had or not, if it feels good, it's less likely to be the thing that you need to write a review about. You're just like, you know, it was good. But I think that like for us, changing from having a restaurant that's very, there are people walking in every day and they're having this one experience to a catering company. Um, some of that has, my focus just on food has changed to being a lot about the workplace environment, like what we're doing for everyone, for the clients, for the people that want to work for Black Radish. Um, if we're feeding both of those people, all of those people the same way, that's I feel like is our success. Being able to say yes to things more often. And what we do as far as, not everybody, a lot of people that find themselves picking up gig work and this stuff are a lot of creative people that are just looking to supplement income. And what we're looking for more importantly than anything are smart people, cool people. They have the same like ideals as we do. They're team players. And that's really kept Black Radish going through this whole time. We started 2016. We hit a great stride when I closed the restaurant, and then when the pandemic happened, we were able to like move through that and stay an intact company because of the people that we had already in place, and those and their mutual respect for each other. So I don't know if that's
Yeah, no, you
yeah.
you you hit on it. My follow-up question is on the ideals part because that's what stood
Mhm.
out to me was like shared ideals. Like how do you put those out there? Do you just like get to know people and sort of like how do you do ideals alignment at Black Radish?
It's broad. I wouldn't say that, you have to sign like a waiver saying how you vote or whatever. It's like we obviously we employ a really diverse group of people, a lot of queer people, a lot of fun people. And so it's more that like there's an understanding of mutual respect that all of these things can exist simultaneously, including our clients, because we also, we're never going to put anybody in harm's way when we go serve you tartare or spaghetti meatballs. It's just that in like a social capacity, but we have to like respect that we're dealing with the public and there's lots of different types of people out there, and so I think that's biggest core part. It doesn't mean you have to like everyone that we work with or that we service, but you can just respect that those are people. Um, it's a real basic, you know. I think that if yeah, I think that's it.
This is my face saying,
Right.
you're saying it's real basic. And I'm over here like, my experience is that mutual respect as like a core belief is like, because there's so much that comes underneath it, right? Like you're saying that's the foundational thing. And like, as someone who started lots of businesses and I've been in different industries and I've built lots of teams, to get to mutual respect is like there's a pathway that is includes competence, includes like this openness and curiosity and willingness to like be proactive. Like there's so many things I think that are underneath that hood that you're like, it's a beautiful car. I'm like, it is a beautiful car. And there's like parts, and you are the leader of bringing those parts together so that people can see this beautiful, right? For you, it's the catering company, but for any company, like I make the case, and I've said so many times in my career that there is no business, no technology, no restaurant, no nothing magical without humans. Behind it was
Exactly.
humans,
Yeah.
right? And the humans are what make the magic.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's been an easy road all the time. We definitely had some bumps and it's been hard, you know. I mean, this, you know, not to get to, I mean, obviously this administration, these times right now have been really hard. But you know what, the luxury that we do have is that we don't ever live the same day twice. We're in someone's home. We never I mean, we might go back to their house again. We're never going to have the same event again. We're always It's always something different. And a lot of the times, is putting in perspective, it's like this is someone's either big day, big meeting, or worst day of their life. Like, don't take yourself so seriously that you're going to ruin it for them. You know, it's like we have a simple job. It's really going to last like 7 hours, six, you know, like, and if you can't, if you're not in the enough of a headspace to manage that day, let us know. There is that window for us to be like, I am, you know, the things are triggering, the things are hard right now. Like, I can't show up to this person's house that I know, you know, hates gay people or hates queers or has said this thing online. Then we have a robust group of people that we can call on, and we try and make sure that everyone has that option to opt out if it's too much, you know. But at the end of the day, we don't take ourselves so seriously that it's like, you know, we know we make good food. We're confident in that way. We know we have good service. We're going to make the best day happen that we can for these people that on their best day or their worst day or whatever. And we're just providing a service that they need. You know, we all need to eat. And really what's so nice is like these big celebrations, they need a food component to them, which breaks down a lot of those social barriers. They're like, we can all eat this. We can even, if we have nothing else to talk about, we can talk about how good or how much we hate the focaccia today. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, we're willing to be that for you. We're just the vehicle for you to get through your day, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. I
yeah.
love, there's so many things I love about what you just pointed out. Um, and I like to, it's a joke kind of when I talk about it, but I'm always like, you know, we're all like an Ellen DeGeneres. Like if you are right. And now I'm like, it's a bummer. She kind of went, it seems to have gone to the dark side. I don't know what's happening
Right.
with Ellen, but remember back in the day when like she was the first person to come out on TV,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
that was a big deal.
Yeah.
It created visibility. It created some normalcy. It created this like, oh, she seems normal, like she at the time. And for me now, because I do a lot of work with the federal government and the Department of Defense and like all different, very diverse groups, right? That's like one side. And then I'm like the founder of the Queer Business Alliance. And boy, those couldn't be like
Wow.
on the spectrum further away from one another under many circumstances. But like I often see my role as someone who can show up and on one side of the spectrum be that person, be that entry point for people.
Yes.
Because right, like you're not getting away from, people know I'm gay. There's
Yeah.
no like I can't grow long hair. I can't like change the way that I, well, I guess I could. I'm not going to. So I
Exactly.
show up
Same.
the way I show up. And then, right, they're like, oh, well, I had a great experience with Jade. And, and it's, in my opinion, it's like those little interactions, those little tiny, right? Like you're saying, you go in and you're giving them great food, great service, and who knows what happens when they leave. But if their little nephew comes out as trans and they've met one trans person because they showed up to help cater an event, and they're like, wait, that person seemed really nice and like they had it together and there was nothing wrong with that. Like they have that seed planted, which I
Yes.
think is beautiful and
Well,
so important for us to be open to instead of like, well, they're not like us. I'm like, they just don't know us. They don't know how fun and capable and great we are. Like we are their doctors, we are their neighbors, we are.
yeah, I absolutely agree. And I do think that that is a form of, for lack of a better word, like activism. There's this thing about just the visibility. I mean, they're in allowing us and inviting into their homes. I mean, I'm going through their cupboard sometime looking for a spatula. Like we are having an intimate experience. I'm a part of you know, their big days. Or, like a funeral. Like that is like can be a changing moment for people. They'll think twice because they have a person in mind, you know? And I'm like you. It's like there is no hiding that this is a queer mask presenting person. And our staff, I'm like, we have like a general, it's like professional black clothing, but be you. So like whatever that is, be confident. When you need to show I'm not asking you to mask your who you are and be like everybody looks the same. It's just like be fun and cool. We just need to be kind of like there needs to be some outline of like we are the catering company and not a guest. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And our all black outfits, which PS, that is like a put that in your back pocket, friend. Never wear all black to a formal event. You will look like you are on the catering team. That's queer.
It's fine.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
want to be get asked for whatever, then just do it.
Yeah.
Also, don't wear a red polo to Target. Same, same
Mm-hmm,
problem.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Although
Uh,
any store I am in, people usually ask me like they just assume I work there. I don't
that
know what
happens
it
to me too.
is.
It must look friendly and helpful, Kate. They're like, you look like you know. I'm like, maybe I do, but I definitely don't
Yeah.
work here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I think that's a great segue because I'm so curious when I think about your work and the way that it's like you're so casually weaving this, what I would argue is like a much larger conversation into this day to day, life that you've designed. It's your business, like you're the leader of the team, but it's like, I don't know, you just feel very like cool, calm, and collected about the whole thing.
Well, no,
You
no, no,
seem
no.
cool, calm, and collected about the whole thing. So I just want to like push a little on one of my favorite topics, which is like the squish or the
Okay.
gray area, right? Like that in between. And I'm curious if you have an example, doesn't have to be recent, but just an example from your work or just your life where like you were in that gray area and you had to, make a decision on how to handle the thing or the person or the circumstance and just like riff on it for a minute because you're pointing to the squish right now. Like this is a very squishy conversation that if
The
we lined up
squish.
queers, yeah, if we lined up a bunch of queer people to give us their opinion, there would be lots.
Okay.
Don't
Wait,
you
wait.
think? What we
I
just
mean,
talked about, the way we
I,
show up and visit, like
yeah,
opinions, people have
yeah.
opinions,
You're
and that's
right.
okay. I love opinions. I'm just curious from your perspective, like something that's happened where you're like, okay, I had to make a judgment call or I had to use my own, right? I didn't want to just do the obvious thing. Does anything pop up?
I mean, there've been a number of things. There's definitely been some requests for us to like uniform. Um, there have been some clients that we have declined. Gosh, am I allowed to say that? I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
there have been clients
absolutely.
that we have actually like stopped working with from because their politics are just they're just too harmful for us. You know, that's rare. but it has happened, and that's been a hard decision for me to make. And then also really easy decision to make,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, it's like this, you know, the dollars will come or the dollars will not come. Obviously, it's at the end of the day, it is a business, but I just, gosh, that's a hard one. I mean, also, I just feel like COVID was a big one for me. Taking outside the queerness of it all, but COVID was definitely a moment. It affected us all so profoundly together, as a world, as but also individually, like in this way that was like a huge loss, right? And how to, like, for me, my business was my best friend, and also I was going through something really hard at the moment, and I usually lean into work when there's time, like things are tough. I'm like, I'll just go chop vegetables for 17 hours a day, and I couldn't do that. So it really made me think that, like, the impermanence of all things.
Hmm.
Um, sorry, I'm really going deep into this. This is like
It's
real
great. I
squishy.
love it. I love
But
it.
the impermanence of all things kind of also took that when you are, you know, of all things, and that you have to kind of lean into that there's a sweetness to that. Like, you can be present and that nothing is lasting forever. So if you have to make a hard decision, you're like, all of a sudden, for some fucking reason, COVID gave a little grace to being like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, say no when you need to say no. If somebody's like being ultra demanding, it's like outrageous. They want you to stand on your head and ride a motorcycle through, like, do something that's totally impossible. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say and let things go, because you can't hold on to everything so tightly, right? And yeah, exactly. Let the shit go.
I'm a
It's
big fan of that mantra.
I guess I'm late to the game in understanding that. I just it it was the thing that came out of that whole tumultuous, like, hard experience with the pandemic, that gave gave me a little bit more like, fuck, I don't know. No, we're not going to do that. And also, these people that I'm with every day and these things that we do are really the most important part of this whole equation.
Mm.
You know, so
Yeah. Yeah.
did I say
Um,
I?
that was great. That was so squishy. Aaron is gonna love that. I'm just telling Aaron now.
Spiraled real
Um,
deep into the.
it was fantastic. And on Erin's behalf, I'm gonna say sometimes you're hitting your hand with your ring on the desk,
Oh,
and she's gonna be mad at me. So I'm saying
taking
something
it off,
now. Yeah,
taking my rings off.
perfect, perfect, perfect. Uh, it's
Okay,
beautiful. It's when you're making your point though, so
I'm
it's
like,
I like it. Yeah, she's gonna be like, why didn't you say something? So here I am saying something. Okay, I want to pull on one little thread on the impermanence conversation, because you mentioned it earlier when you said we'll show up at an event, and no matter the right reason, circumstance, the people's background, like, it's 6 or 7 hours, right? We're gonna be leaving soon, essentially. Um, how would you say that kind of day-to-day experience and environment, which, by the way, you designed, right? You designed this company and the way you're doing business. So, like, how would you say that relates to the experience that you had during COVID, if it does or if it doesn't, and just like how you connect the dots for yourself?
um, I mean, for me, it made catering a little bit easier. It's the control part that you have. There's so much that we have to think about. Like, anybody that's in food, it's like it's all about the systems and the little things, and like everything sort of like measured. And catering is like, you can only control so much, and you have to be prepared for things to go off the rails. It could rain, the power could not work, the oven might not show up, half your staff might not show up, like, there could be a medical event. I mean, I could name a million things that have happened to us that at the end of the day, you have to be prepared to deal with whatever that is, not be questioning whether or not you know how to cook a steak, or, you know what I mean? Like do the food part. So I think COVID was the ultimate test on that.
Mm.
Like we literally, I mean, I lost in a day, it was just calls of like hundreds of thousands of dollars, just being like, watching it, just be like, I don't think that because we booked so far in advance, we were able to see the impact so quickly of being like, we're canceling everything. Everybody experienced that. But um, I think also in that COVID gave us the confidence to be like, okay, if we got through that crazy business and built back so slowly, then and had to change everything. You know, nothing went back the way it used to be. Everybody knows that. Then we can manage the appetizer hour has to come, be 45 minutes late. We're not losing our shorts over that. And I think that that does come across the client's experience, because nobody wants an anxious caterer being like, I don't know, or like pushing back on what you need to happen. It's your day. It's like you need 45 more minutes to get photos or have a moment with, your person. No problem. That is no problem. We can definitely handle that.
Like, listen, we've made it through a pandemic, so everything else is like pales in comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. And had to build a company out of nothing and rebuild it multiple times as we've all changed how we gather again and how we celebrate again. Um, so
What's your insight on that, Kate? Like how we've changed and shifted? Because I have so many thoughts in a pit, like from where I sit, but you sit in a very unique, like you saw how people gathered, like pretty much to the T before you saw the gap, and now like what are you seeing? Like what's the vibe now?
the training wheels are off. I felt like the first couple of years out of COVID, it was like, what is, you could tell who was obviously like a lot of people were having some alone time with their wine and their drinks, and like the level of like it just everybody felt like they had never been to a party before. There was anxiety, there was lots of sloppy drunkenness, there was just uncomfortableness all around. We were uncomfortable, everyone was uncomfortable. Now I feel like people are like back on the bicycle, like they feel comfortable either um being sober, which is nice. It's like there's so much more consciousness around like having mocktails and things, and they feel part of the party, which is really nice. Like it's all inclusive. All the dietary restrictions that came sort of to the surface when people were alone with their bodies being like, this doesn't feel good. That's all those accommodations are like on the regular now. And then and then like people know how to party and socialize again. Like I think that
Thank goodness for all of it.
yeah, because there was some weird conversations out there, and not to mention the backdrop of the political environment that was going on, where people were, I mean, and still are so polarized by that, but knowing how to gracefully manage that together has been nice for me to see, not just how horrible people can be to each other on the internet, but when they're having to break bread and celebrate somebody else, they're being able to be humans again, which has been nice.
That makes me I'm so happy to hear that, Kate. I can't tell you. I One of my biggest fears when I before I started the podcast was online bullying and hate.
Mm,
And I did a psilocybin journey where that was like the whole thing was just like, it's gonna happen. And P.S. No one's ever gonna do it to your face. And you just gotta
yeah,
like let go of these fears. And if somebody wants to be a keyboard troll, like go ahead with your bad self. Like you want to come down in this arena with us and play,
yeah,
then let's. But like I've legit in my adult life, I've pretty much never been bullied to my face. I was bullied to my face as a kid, which is why I have that, right? Those neural pathways are just like I'm like ready. But it
yeah.
doesn't happen. Adults we don't do it to each other's faces.
No, which
Generally.
is kind of sad. Like I would much rather someone, if they had a problem with me, please let's have a coffee. Let's help me understand, and I'm here for that conversation. or I think I would be, but like you said, it's rare that someone will call you out directly. And it's, it's awful. I don't, however you can prepare yourself for something like that is so hurtful. It's just, I don't, I mean, I know that there are people that have thicker skin than me for sure, but it's hard. It's really hard to see and, what people, just how terrible people can be. Like, man, yuck. Why you got so much time?
I know. I know. I've like spun it for myself now because, and I think Brene Brown was a huge for me,
Mm,
like a very
love,
big, oh, Brene,
love.
come over on our
Girl,
team.
yes.
She's close enough. She's close enough. I'm obsessed with her story though, because she was like, a social worker, like a normal social worker doing normal research and, you know, like any queer person could have been in that seat, honestly. Like, yes, she is, I think she identifies as straight. She has a husband and kids, but whatever. She is clearly open. She's clearly supportive, right? She's like written about it. So I'm not putting words in her mouth. But when she did her first TED talk and got, she basically blew up overnight when she did
Totally.
that TED talk on vulnerability and shame. And she writes in one of her books that for the next, it was weeks, she was just like in this very dark place because of all the hate that she got from the success. And she's actually the one who put out it's a Roosevelt quote on the man in the arena. It's basically like, the man in the arena is the one who's doing the thing, and people sit up in the stands and want to like, throw crap at you. But like, just
Right.
come down here. Come on down here. And I love that so much. And I also now experience for myself that I can have tons of empathy for the people who are sitting in the stands and watching their lives pass them by. I can have tons of
Hmm.
empathy for them because I just don't want to be in the stands. So I'm like,
Right.
if that's where you want to be, good for you. And it's just not for me. And I can accept whatever you have to throw my way and not take it personally. Like I don't even now I'm not even like, oh, it's thick skin. It's just like that's not for me. That's you. That's your own junk. And I offer you a mirror, my friend.
Yeah.
That is my
No,
response.
100%. I mean, I can't say that it doesn't always bother me, but I can say that I don't want to be in the stands. Well, I'm not sure if like this was all intentional, like the restaurant and the stuff. Like I didn't set out saying like I want to be a chef and I want like it just kind of happened. And thankfully with my great therapist behind me. Um but yeah, I want an active part in my life. You know what I mean? It's like it's moving so quick, and I don't want to spend my time just thinking about what somebody else is doing. You
Yeah,
know?
I was just on a call with a colleague yesterday and she mentioned something and I was like, comparison is the thief of joy. It
Oh my
is the
god.
thief, evil thief, that comparison. Like, get it out
Yes.
of here. It's yuck. You're just yucking all over your own yum. And by the way, it also yucks on my yum because you're comparing yourself to me and I'm right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the
And
worst.
it takes a lot of energy to put out that kind of negativity, and it feels better when you can support people rather, just like you don't even have to say anything. There's plenty of things to just ignore. Just
Yeah.
you do your
Or,
thing, I'm going to do mine, and I'm going to support the people that I really think are doing cool stuff,
and so often, like in my experience of any type of comparison, and I've practiced this a lot myself, is like, instead of comparing anything, I just focus on like giving a compliment. Like
Yeah.
Kate, for example, I'm just wildly impressed by what you've built in the industry you've built it in because it is you do make it seem really like not a big deal. And you're doing something really unique and really special and that has impact much greater than just you and your team and your company because people know it's possible. Like you're creating this space that, I think it's rare. I know it's rare in your world. I know that it's rare. So it's just like, instead of being like, oh, I wish that I could be like Kate, I'm like, damn, Kate, that's badass. That's badass. And I don't
Thanks.
want to do that, by the way. I do not want to get into catering. So I'm really glad there are people like you who love it, like you're passionate about it. And, you're like, oh, I just kind of just happened. I'm like, like you generated all of those activities that had it happen. right? Like luck is not, I don't believe in luck because you have to be you have to be there and you have to be willing to say yes.
Yeah, I agree. You have to be willing to say yes. I also think that the relationships around you help. I think that without the people, and that's the one part where like the more friends you make, or not enemies, like are going to propel you forward. And I say that to a lot of people. It's like you don't know the people that are going to be at this party that could see you and be like, just your energy hire you alone on like, or find the project that you're like at an impasse with, and they're going to help you get to the next level. And like people you wouldn't normally be in those social circles with, because catering is so public, because the food service industry is so public, you're dealing with every type of person. You might find this person that helps jumpstart the next part of your life. So that's
Kate,
one cool
I
part.
just have to double tap on that because I was literally pouring a glass of wine in a
Mm-hmm.
restaurant when my original mentor, who like taught me everything I know about business
Mm.
at its foundation, was like, "I just like your vibe. Would you like a different job?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
exactly what happened to me. So I am like, please, like, hey, everyone should have a job in food service, everyone should have a job in labor, and everyone should have a job in retail. Just so you know what those three categories, they support our whole entire infrastructure. So like get a little bit of experience in each one, which I think I just, I have. So I'm like, anytime I see anybody doing any of those three things, I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like that is hard work.
It's hard work.
It's hard work.
But you never know who you're going to meet and how they're going to change your life if you are open to it. If you just are like a closed shell, like, and you're just like, I hate you because you're not like me, that's not going to happen, And like, if you could just have a little bit of openness, I think it could, things could change. So,
My whole
but
life,
anyway,
my whole
like,
life trajectory, Kate. One moment, one person, one,
mhm,
like that was, I've sold companies now because of that one moment.
really, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I look back and I'm like, this was not my future. It wasn't.
really,
No one in my family owned businesses. There was no entrepreneurship around me. I didn't even know. If you had said that word of it, I'm like, what? I don't even know. I was 19. I was 19 years old when this happened.
wow,
So like, yeah, there was just there was no future called where I'm at, right? Like having this conversation with you without that moment. And the willingness on my part to be like, yeah, what do I have to, what do I have to lose? Like she seems like she has it together. She eats here regularly. It's not cheap. I
yeah,
would like that future. I want to go to a farm to table restaurant 2 to 3 times a week.
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, I never saw this, I'm not saying like I had the roughest, but I was definitely on the struggle bus coming out of high school, and just looking for a way to make a lit. I never saw myself as a chef. I didn't even think I wanted to do this, but I certainly didn't have a business plan or at all when I started the restaurant. It was really like survival. But I couldn't be happier. I mean, this has been a great experience, and I'm learning so much, and hope to continue to do that. But I think being open to the change, being like, is a big part of that. Like you being open to this person coming in and asking. I mean, you know, that's a big ask. You don't know her or them or whatever. Like
Mm-mm.
that's
She could have
cool.
owned a funeral home for
Yeah,
all I knew. I had no idea what I was agreeing to in that moment. I was like, ah.
that's magic. That's magic. That's people being people. I love that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It's very cool to hear you say that and be like, well, that's how that's my life. That's a fun full circle moment. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we just did a great transition into talking about your rewire. So, Kate, I want you to share with our listeners, what is your rewire and how has it helped you rise?
Uh, I mean, I'd have to go back to the Rewire. Really is the lean in to the impermanence. Whether that's about loss and grief, or it's just that you know there's all nothing you can't control. Like for me, I've lost a lot of people. I've You can't control that things are going to change. Um, And there is like I said earlier, it's like there is a sweetness to that you will find that doesn't negate the loss. You're going to have, as things change, like when the catering, or actually, with my restaurant, like I did not plan to close it. And I miss it every day. And a lot of other people do, but what's come out of that is this next chapter, which is also has its sweetness and its beauty. And I think that, like, understanding being present, I know this sounds really woo, but like the understanding of being present with what you have, um, makes it all just taste a lot better. If you can understand that it might not be there forever. It's maybe dark to say that, but I think that would be my rewire. I mean, grief has been a huge part of my life since I was a kid. And for a while, I thought about that as my own secret superpower, in that, like, I am thinking about things in the bigger picture constantly. I'm in a constant state of existential crisis. Like, what's the meaning of this? Is this worth to do this? This will all be gone. Should I fall in love? Should I do this? Like, the impermanence makes everything scarier, but also just that much more sweeter. So, I guess that would be my rewire.
That was a great answer, by the way.
Yeah.
I
Okay. All right.
love that rewire. I want to know for myself and for our listeners, like, what are ways that you put it into practice in, like, real time? Is it all just happening up here? Is there anything you do? Is there any, like, structure that you have around this impermanence practice that you have?
Structure. I mean, no, I would say that there are times in my life I'm better at it than, you know, than others. I definitely get caught up in the muck of society and what everybody's expectations are of our bodies and our life stuff. But I think, you know, being outside is, like, really dumb shit. Like, honestly, like, riding my bicycle right now is, like, just the way of, like, oh, this is different. It's like switching things up. Um, Understanding that, like, trying not to fight against, when you are having the feelings of loss, like the change hurts, it's like that. Allow yourself to feel that way. So take a night off, eat a pizza, or a stupid gluten-free pizza, or whatever. Like, allow yourself to have that time. Maybe, I don't know, I guess, like, I wouldn't say I'm like, I would like to say that I meditate all the time, but that's not true. I try to, and it's very helpful when I can get myself to be in that space. But the noise is big, and it's hard to always, like, clear. So I'd say, like, yeah.
I love what you're pointing to, though, which is, like, sort of building it into your, just like, what you're already doing.
Mhm.
Like, I need to get to work, so I'm going to ride my bike because that changes it up. I experienced loss, and I'm going to call in. I'm going to, like, take care of myself. I mean, that's, again, you make everything sound like it's, like, no big deal, but
That's
that's,
been the
like,
hardest thing.
our culture is very, like, just keep going, right? Like, we have a culture built around the hustle mentality, and you're essentially saying, like, nah, like, flip the script and do what you need to do to take care of yourself and to build some change into your lifestyle. Because that's, the reason we're in Maine is because I really wanted our kids to experience other environments and other people and other communities, because we live in this, little pocket outside of Boulder, Colorado, that, like, kind of has a Pleasantville vibe. And I'm like, yeah, I grew up in apartment complexes. And I think I'm really resilient and
Yeah.
have a, ability to solve, right? Like, I was good in catering
Hmm.
because it's basically just, like, constant problem
Problems
solving
all the time. All the
and
time.
problems that you would never, you're like, this is not on our list of potential problems. And yet here we are.
Yeah. Oh my God. So many. And they're so
So
funny in retrospect, but when you're, you know,
it's
we
not
literally
always
had a,
funny while it's happening.
oh my God, no. Oh my God, no. I had a,
What's the best
literally,
one?
we would do this festival, this queer festival out, like at the border of West Virginia and Pennsylvania. That is a great it's a great festival. But the first year we were using this, they have a camp kitchen there. It's on beautiful land, but they had a camp kitchen there that we were cooking out of, and a black snake, first of all, fell out of the ceiling. And then while we had like, we were doing coffee, like cowboy coffee, like I'm cooking like a million things. It's hot as hell. And the snake comes like between my leg, comes back in the kitchen and is like up the side of this like post right next to all this boiling water. I mean, I was like having a little bit of a break, like a moment there. But like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I don't know. Just go back to your nest in the ceiling, please. Hurry.
Exit the space, would you?
Yeah,
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 you're in a camp kitchen. Like it's
yeah,
just, my gosh.
yeah. So
Yeah,
there's been a few that have been a little wackadoodle, but yeah,
you handle
uh,
it. You
yeah,
just
you
keep
handle
going.
it.
Honestly, most of the time, just like just keep going.
Yeah, and like have a freak out about it later. But I think the thing is like I know I sound like I make it like getting to the point where you take the time to take care of yourself, and it doesn't need to be extreme things, but just like little stuff where it's like make the doctor's appointment, do the stuff to take care of yourself. Just like being a queer person in the world, it's like you have to lead by example. So the restaurant industry is notorious for it's like work through the pain, show up all the time, work the hours, like pushing everybody to be like, no, it's okay to do that has been really hard. Like we struggle with it still, and like me doing it first hopefully helps everyone feel like, no, she's serious, like I can take time off when I need to if I'm not okay, or I can you know do little things to take care of myself. um but as a inside of the restaurant industry, it seems like that's our badge of honor, and also it's our way to like not have to deal with our shit. um and so we like, no one's gonna require me to deal with my shit. But now it's like, now there is this pressure to be like, please deal with yourself. Whether it's the little stuff or like the bigger stuff, like, um, and that starts with me. So I have to kind of do that. Anyway, that's just me rambling on, but uh, I hope that
Your
answers.
ramblings are great, Kate. I'm
Okay.
telling you,
Okay.
we're
Cool.
making Erin so happy right now. She's
That's
like,
good.
yes, they're doing it. Okay, I wanna bring us into kind of our
Mhm.
final closing.
Okay.
We always want to hear from our guests, like we want to know what you're working on that you're excited about, and we want to know how we can support. Like, is it the socials? Is it the like go to Pittsburgh and have an event and use your company? Like, what are the things that we can do to have your back as a community?
Um, two organizations that we help. Like I was just talking about that festival that we were a big part of when they switched locations to open up to include all genders. Um, they have something called Queer Family Fun, and it is all about queers experiencing joy. And the festival, it costs money, it's transportation, there's camping involved, there's meal plans involved. So it's not the cheapest festival to go to, but they have this Queer Family Fund that we support. That you can also support, and what that does is help to pay for um, trans and queer people of color uh, to be able to, or that are having like financial difficulties, be able to go and experience this joy in the woods with other queer people. Which is, there are a lot of queer organizations right now that need our support, but it's also really nice to support fun and joy, and it's not that hard. It's a small lift in order to get someone to go do that. And there's lots of other queer organizations. We also really like to support this one organization called Proud Haven, which is for young queers that are experiencing um, housing insecurity. That's a big one for my heart. So those are two things that we really like to support. And I think as far as something I personally am excited about is, like I said, we we are like, we use our space sometimes to help other people, um, get to the next level with their business. So it's a bakery that they're still working out the lease on their thing, so they'll incubate in our space for a little bit. And we haven't had anyone since um, this last restaurant went through. And I think one of the things we're thinking about doing is something that's more geared towards um, working with this food artist named Lori Trock to build a small residency, very infant. I don't even know if I should be talking about it right now. So maybe leave
You
that
have to
out.
start somewhere.
Yeah,
No,
I'm like
like,
putting it in the universe. This could be really cool.
yeah,
She is
what
one of
is
my
it? Tell us. Like, what is the
well,
dream?
it's her project. We're just gonna um hopefully create a space inside of Black Radish where they can have um the residency and play with food in a different way that is non-transactional. It's really about food as an experience, an art form, um, not necessarily like a business. Like I'm used to having it being like, what she does with, she makes these crazy cakes, and does these performances around these impermanent pieces of art because they're food. You know, I hope I'm doing her justice by this, but I'm a big fan and I want to support this next thing that she has in the works. So her name is Laura Trock. She's the best.
Cool. Look her up.
Yeah.
Follow. I bet she's on Instagram.
Yeah, she's on Instagram.
I bet. Ah, Kate, I have to say, I for someone who opened up this episode saying you're shy, you did a great job.
Chatty. I got chatty.
Yeah, like cracking that. Because that's an identity, right? That's like something that is it? Are you? I don't know. It's an identity, and I
Yeah.
I just experienced you as very open, super willing to like go there, connect with another human being, and just like go with the flow. Which my word for 2026 is flow. And just like practicing being in it, and just like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's just like try, let's experiment. There's no map, as far as I can tell, on how to
Yeah.
do this thing called life. So it has been a pleasure.
Oh my gosh,
So
this has been
fun.
so good. And you really
So
did.
good.
I can be shy, but like some of the stuff is like, you want to get into yeah, like I can go global, like spiral into like, what's it all
Uh-huh.
about?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think you said I like live in an existential crisis, essentially.
yeah.
So I'm like, oh, you are so my people. I don't experience this as a crisis maybe as much as some, but like existentialism is like oh, how cool.
Yeah.
What like wonder and awe there is in this world that we're in, that we're these teeny tiny little boop,
Exactly.
and yet we live these like massive experiences. It's so cool.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
thanks for taking the time. I know it's your
Thank you.
most finite resource. You can't get more. So really, really appreciate it. I
Thank
can't
you.
wait for your episode to close out. And I just like shout out to the queers in season 1, because it was really cool to hear all the different stories, and to end, Kate, with you and your story of how you are weaving this in, but like pretty quietly, without a big hoo-ha, as like an act of, like this is how we show, this is who we are. It's
Yeah.
activism. I love that you said that, like being yourself is activism, because I
Yeah.
feel the exact same way. So
Yeah.
thank
I
you
love that.
again.
Thank you.
Any
Have a
final
great time
thoughts?
in Maine.
Yeah,
Oh,
I will.
yeah, no, have a great time in Maine. That's like one of my favorite places.
Same. Everyone should come to Maine. Best national park in the country is Acadia. I will die on that hill.
Yes.
Kate agrees.
Yes, I do.